Hello and welcome to France. As you can see, my background has changed slightly. The dog's not on the bed. The dog's here obediently waiting for me to start the ball. She might do later if I run out of things to talk about. And I wanted to let you know why we're here. For the past 4 years, we have been taking an extended summer break to work, but also to recharge and to refresh and to get inspiration. All the things that I talk about when I talk about space for creativity. My wife is an artist, as well as all of my own artistic endeavors, and we just have found that actually making space to get away is so fundamental to resetting and reinvigorating our art practices. And I think that it's accessible to everybody, from finding an afternoon to doing something like this or beyond. But it took, for us, it took a little bit of creative thinking. And what I mean by that is our house is actually on Airbnb and somebody's staying in our house, and that affords us to be able to come and stay in France. Because as you'll appreciate, a small gîte in the middle of nowhere in France is much more affordable than our family home in suburban Dublin, where everyone wants to come and visit and go and see the Book of Kells or see their family or whatever they're doing. And it just means that this works for us. And even if Airbnb wasn't the way, because we've found this so useful, we would do what we can to make it happen. So I think it's important to think creatively about how can you find the space. And lots of the people that I talk to just need a few prompts to start thinking about, well, if I was to make something like that happen, what would it look like? Are you having grass for breakfast? Are you? Okay. Good dog. Good girl. This is Robin, by the way. She is a little joy and a wonder, but I don't know why she's eating the grass today. Where was I? Oh, yes. Last night I was making dinner and I was watching a stream by Circo. Circo is an electronic musician. He kind of plays improvised techno, and he's based out of, I want to say somewhere in Colorado. But I've been watching his stuff for a couple of years. Seems like a really solid guy. And he runs some courses on playing live electronic music and producing live electronic music. And he was kind of really talking about the fact that you can't buy your way out of practice. And he said, he was kind of talking and saying, I don't know why people think that buying the latest gear and having the latest magic music box is going to get them to a place where the music will flow out of the machine. It comes down to investing in themselves and putting in the work. And I totally agree. If you've watched some of my other videos, you'll know that that's a lot of what I talk about is about, it's beyond the gear. Now, I definitely don't think you can eradicate practice. I don't think you can get away from knowing your tools, knowing your craft, and putting in the work. But I also think that fundamental to that is actually having the space to be able to do that. Getting past the mental blockages that are saying, I've got no time, I've got no money, I've got no chances to do this, I've got no physical space to do it. And that's an awful lot of what I talk about here on this channel. And I just wanted to show you in the real world, with my life, that what is possible. We are here for 5 weeks. Um, Previously, we've gone for 6 or even 8 weeks. This summer, we are limited because my daughter has tickets for Billie Eilish playing in Dublin, and we're going to go back for that. So it's a perfect little bookend. Sometimes we find when it gets a bit longer that our kids start to get a bit all over the place. Now, I've got a 12-year-old and a 16-year-old, and it's just that they're, in the first couple of times we came away, they were like, "Oh, I want to be home. I want to be around my friends. I don't want to leave." But last year we tried to do this in Ireland, and it just wasn't nearly as feasible because the holiday rental prices are outrageous. Um, and I don't know if you can tell, but we like to come somewhere beautiful. I'm not saying that Ireland isn't beautiful, but you've got to pay a lot of money in Ireland to get even a simple place that's as stunning as this. And the little gîte is gorgeous. Kath, the lady who runs it, has done an incredible job refurbishing what was probably a big barn and turning it into a lovely little home for us to stay in. And it's got everything we need. We're just here for 3 weeks, and this is going to be our base where we're going to work, and I'll be making videos, but I'll also be writing, and I'll be exploring, making some music. I brought just one backpack full of gear. I was very limited on space, so I could only bring a small amount of equipment. And that's fine. I think that's also part of the mentality of going, well, I don't need everything. I'm just going to try, see what I can do with something restrictive. And I think that restrictive piece is really helpful. I don't have the perfect setup here. I'm not sure I even have a table that I can leave things on. I'm going to have to take it in and out of my bag so it doesn't get in the way of the family. But there's going to be plenty of time. It's currently 7:45 and I don't expect to see anyone for 2 hours. So I'll have 2 hours of uninterrupted blissful morning. And I'm sharing that with you because I want to offer you an idea of how you can create space. And this is both sanctuary, as I talk about in my space model, sanctuary, play, attention, connection, and elevation. And what did you see? Oh, the flies bothering you, are they? Okay. So this is also attention, because where is our attention going? We're here, we're not in a particularly touristy area. We're not looking to spend our days at amusement parks or at the beach. We've intentionally to come somewhere quiet where, we can walk the dogs, and there's a pool over there. So the kids are going to be happy and they'll be entertaining themselves in the pool. That's fine. But we're not drawn to big tours around the city or anything else that's particularly involved. And we're only here one whole day, and yesterday was resting up after cleaning up our house, packing, getting the ferry from Cork, and then driving a good chunk of the day to get here. So we're tired and we're recovering. And that's part of that sanctuary. It's a lovely quiet space, and it's beautiful and it's inspiring. And even last night, from midnight till about 1, myself and my son lay on the grass down at the end of the garden, just looking up at the stars, talking about how infinitesimally small we are in comparison to the array of stars we could see. It was a completely clear night, and you could see the Milky Way stretching out above our heads. Absolutely beautiful. And that's around that attention piece as well. And when I'm done with this and I've finished my coffee, I'll go and grab my little music groove box and put on my headphones and have a little play, making some music. I've already worked up started 3 tracks between the ferry and being here for 2 nights. I wouldn't say they're wonderful yet, but it's enabled me to learn my gear better. But it's not forcing me to, I'm not forced to think about, oh, I've got to get a track produced or I've got to finish something. I'm playing. And that's really an important part of the process. I think I just need to allow that to happen. And I think you do too. So I just want to challenge you to think about how you can do something different with your time, with your space, to creatively make something happen. Whether that's leaving your phone at home when you go out for a walk and bringing your camera, or bringing a pen and a sketchbook, and going, oh, I'm going to, instead of just scrolling on my phone, I could, have my pen at the ready. And the same thing, I'm up early. The dog was being plagued by a fly and just wanted to move, so I got out of bed and came and brought her out here. But I knew it was Tuesday and I tried to upload videos on Tuesday, so I was like, I'm going to come out, sit in the sunshine and have a chat to you. I'd love to hear in the comments if you have any creative ways in which you make space. How have you thought about that? Was that a conversation with a partner or with your boss? I mean, this initially started because I started working for a company that allowed us to work remotely for up to 6 weeks. So I was able to work remotely for 6 weeks and then we holidayed for 2 weeks. And we just took that to the max. And my boss was super happy with that. I was already the team I was running were fully remote, all over Europe and in India. And it was really straightforward. So I didn't have to have any conversations with my boss. But I do think that more and more people are open to some level of flexibility. And as I regularly say to my kids, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So start a conversation. And rather than dreaming of, oh, I want to live in a cabin in the woods and write my novel, you might not want to. You might absolutely hate that. So why don't you try it for a long weekend or a week? And I think we all have the ability to make that happen. Again, even if you're stuck financially, see if you can find somebody who's got a cabin in the woods, and they'll let you either do a trade, or you'll find a way to pay them. Might not be financially, so you might be able to go, well, hey, look, if you've got a website, I'm going to write my book. Why don't I write you some copy before I get there for your business? Whatever that might be. I do think that with the creative skills that we have and the tools that are accessible, there's so many ways in which we can barter and trade. That I can record and edit a video. So maybe that's something that I could help somebody with. Everyone wants videos these days. So, and that's certainly what I've done in the past. I've taken my photography skills and I've made product shots and food photography and videos for small restaurants and cafes and back home in Dublin. And that was outside of my work hours, but it just meant that I had resources available to continue to invest in myself and invest in my skill set, invest in my equipment to keep growing that piece. And then while I'm here, I'm doing my best to leave my phone by the door. There is Wi-Fi, but I'm being really intentional about the time that I'm going to spend on my computer and on my phone, because I have this gift of space to read, write, think, sleep, and to hopefully make some videos for you to all watch, but then also to come up with what's my next 6 months going to look like in terms of my creative output and, for this channel. Since I mentioned rest and I'm mentioning space, in the description is the link to my Space for Creativity starter kit. And the first thing that I'll send you is a digital detox video. There's a whole pile of steps in there on how to make your phone less attractive, have less notifications, and other ways in which you can start to reclaim your attention back from the social media doom scroll and the attention merchants who are trying to get you to spend all your time looking at their app. And also in that, after a couple of days, I'll send you a PDF called The 7 Types of Rest, and it links to a video on my channel which talks about ways in which we can recuperate, we can restore ourselves. That's not just, 8 hours in bed. Maybe you've woken up after 8 hours of sleep going, I'm still exhausted. That's often because there's mental pressures or there's other ways in which you're not being intentional about restoring that energy. Because I really believe that we're energy beings, and that it's around our energy and not necessarily our time. So I think we're paying attention to the energy that we're expending and the energy we need to restore is super helpful. I go into a little bit in that video. You'll be hearing a lot more from me in France for the next little while. But before my next video, YouTube's going to recommend one up here. In the magic of YouTube space, in front of this tree, there's going to be a video for you to take a look at. Anyway, I hope you have a restful, spacious, and wonderful day. Keep creative. I'll talk to you in the next video. Thanks, bye. Just gonna enjoy my coffee.